Welcome to the Black Mind Podcast. My name is Jeff. Joining me, as always, is Josh. How are you, Josh?
I'm pretty good. I'm just eating some fries and mayo. So good.
That is the worst thing you could have said on the show. We're lucky that our two other idiotic hosts are not here, and potentially somebody from our past is also not here.
Well, A, it's Easter weekend, and B, someone else said they're going to go to the Video Games Live concert, which, hey, that's cool. I mean, I've been to two of them, and they're fun, but they're too much the same.
If you go to the Video Games Live concert, I'm sorry, I got bad news for you. You may or may not put yourself ahead of others. You may not be the best person to represent this show. I'm just saying. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, listeners. I'm saying that we put ourselves ahead for you. By the way, I have to make sure that my audio is not shit. Okay, yeah, so it's still fine. Cool. So, all for our 10 listeners. Speaking of which, we got a very short show for you this week because it's Easter weekend. We don't want to be recording. We want to be doing fun things.
Yeah, we got believe it or not, we're busy this weekend, so it's fucking dumb. Anyway, what do we want to start talking about? You want to talk about Fortnite and Pubg? You want to do that?
Yeah,
because I can do that because I've been playing both of them back to back.
I think that you are becoming where I was 6 months ago.
Like just going ape shit about both of them, or like, yeah,
oh my god, oh yeah, bro, so much broness in this, bro.
Because right now I'm just kind of soaking in both of them. So I'll give in some more info on this. So I bought into Pubg because I paid for whatever the hell it was to get into.
Because my friends are dicks, listener. They're douche. They're totally very controlling, manipulating human beings. Specifically,
of course, they're of course, I would say,
we want you to play with us. And then I'm like, no, I can't play with you.
Yeah, I would say the words twisting my arm, but it was really them just going, come on, we're all playing it, come on. And I'm like, okay. So I bought it.
They use peer pressure on Josh. They're terrible people.
Yeah. And so my experience with Pubg is that, man, this game is has that jank that, when it comes to higher end AAA games, which Fortnite is, we'll also talk about that. But when it comes to Pubg, has that layer of jank to it that you're like, oh man, sure hope I can run across this field and not die for no reason. Oh no, I died. Who shot me? Oh, this guy who's cheating way off another continent. Fuck.
That is the summary of that game to a T.
Yeah. So basically it's a combination of I hope a cheater doesn't kill me. I hope I don't fall and kill myself. And another third tier of that is, man, oh, excuse me. Oh, I sure hope that, I'm not the first one to die in the freaking, when you're dropping and trying to find a decent gun. Because there's a good couple of times where I go into the house in Pubg, could not find shit, run out, try to get to another place and just die halfway there. Or as soon as I run out the door. It always happens a lot.
I mean, Josh, here's my thing about that game and stuff like that is, yeah, I can't fight against it. You're right. not going to sit there and disagree with you.
Like, so because I bought into PUBG and I was playing Fortnite before, so I've been playing them both back to back, and quite a bit. So I've been experiencing both what Fortnite has to available, also what PUBG is doing, and I started realizing that, both do the same thing. Kind of like how Tekken and Street Fighter are both fighting games, but yet they have completely different approach of what a fighting game is. So basically PUBG is it's again battle royale mode of like the movie that is battle royale. You drop everyone in a location, they defend for themselves until it's down to one guy. And Fortnite does the same thing, but each one has their own take. So one's more cartoony, and one is like all about, destroying walls, destroying trees, destroying rocks, so you can get some resources. You can build ramps and walls and stuff so you can defend yourself, and also trying to find some weaponry so you can defend yourself even further and shoot other people just in case. And then when it comes to PUBG, it's more realistic in that you're dropped out of an airplane like everything else, and you're trying to find resources within the environment of running into buildings or into certain locations that try to get some decent weapons and try not to die. Try not to die as the last person, or like at least the person who's trying to get to the last few people without dying, basically. Or unless you're the really good guy who can get to number one.
And we did play with that guy for a while.
Yeah. And funny thing was, I actually got to being last team on Fortnite with what's his name on the Discord channel.
We'll just say one of my friends.
Yes, one of Jeff's friends. I actually got to be on squad of 2. I actually got to be number 1 place in one of the matches, which was like cool. We actually killed like a whole bunch of team people, and we defended ourselves pretty well. But funny thing was is that Jeff's friend felt like did most of the work, where I was a distraction. So
that's normally how things go with him. I'm not trying to be mean when I sit there and say that. It's
just like he's actually pretty decent at it, and it's like, well, I try to do certain things, it just doesn't work out, and I'm like, well, I'm distraction then. I'm good at that.
Yeah, like that's how I play the game too. Is like, but like I actually try. Like I'm not good. I don't claim to be good. I never wanted to be good at the game. And somehow that got forced on me because my friends are like, what do you mean you can't be good at the game? It's like, fuck off.
It comes to a point of like, what's your skill ceiling, basically? And my skill ceiling can be low sometimes. High in some games, but low most of the time. And, but yeah, so most of my time is just jumping back and forth of what's the differences. And if you were going to tell me, hey, what's the game you'd rather play more? I think I'd rather play Fortnite way more than I want to PUBG. Only because the reason is that it respects my time. Because it's like you're in, you're out, you're in, you're out. There's no jank. There's very decisive, like, yeah, you totally won this, or oh man, you lost to that guy, but it was totally legit. And it's like, yeah, I feel good about this. And you're in or out for like 30 minutes to 15 minutes, depending on how far you play. And in PUBG, it's like 45 minutes, 55 minutes, depending on how long you're playing. And you can lose to the most bullshit of reasons. You miscalculated that jump off of this rock, and now you're dead. Oh no, there's another guy coming around the corner. I hope you have a gun that's not reloaded. Oh no, you have no ammo. You're dead. And also, there's a certain level of jank what comes with PUBG. Is just, I don't feel as better. Like, it makes it weird and fun in its own right. But then it comes to the degree of like obtuseness with some of the controls and some of that. It's just, which I don't like about it.
It's a different type of game.
Yeah. I mean, the one thing I give over PUBG over Fortnite is that you can customize your weapons and the loadouts and stuff like that. So you pick up a certain gun and you actually have a certain clip for it. You'd be like, yeah, I'm going to put this thing on, going to put this clip on, going to put the silencer on, going to put the scope on. And then you'd be like, yeah, I'm pimped.
It's a different type of game.
Exactly.
Now, if we change gears to Vermintide, which is basically
a battle royale.
Well, no, it's Fortnite what is to PUBG.
And Vermintide is to what is
Vermintide
Left 4 Dead. Left 4 Dead. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. This game is better than Left 4 Dead, and it scratches an itch that Left 4 Dead left. And here's the thing: is that I personally don't mind Left 4 Dead, but my friends really feel as if it irritates them.
And to what degree?
Like, it actually took them out of the game. Like, Left 4 Dead 2 was just like, nothing makes sense, man. This is stupid.
Oh, really?
And
like, the story doesn't make sense and all that junk?
Yeah.
Because,
yeah, it's all very good and stuff like that. It makes a lot of sense. It's fun. You're accomplishing a lot of little things and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Whereas, like, Left 4 Dead 2 is like, terrible things.
Well, the thing is, Left 4 Dead 2 is scenario-based. Like, need to call a helicopter to the stage of this concert so you can get the hell out of there. Oh, no, it activated the entire show. That means all the zombies are going to try to kill you. Like, I always say Vermintide's a little different because you're going from point A to point B while dodging not zombies but rat soldiers and stuff like that. Like, again, Vermintide, so it's all the vermin that are the rat people are trying to kill you. Mm-hmm. And I think it's a little better than just zombie hordes because it's not fucking zombies. It's not brainless, go and attack, blah, blah, blah. It's like, hey, there's smart people within the crowd of dumb people here. There's like, they're actively not just undead who wants to kill you. It's just more of, it's just mass army of people that actually have intelligence of themselves. It's like, this is refreshing to some degree. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're still kind of zombie-like, but it's like, well, I mean, this feels different than compared to the Left 4 Dead that it was before. And yeah, just the different setting and the different enemy types you're fighting, I think it's a little better. What else to talk about that game? Mm-hmm. In Vermintide 2, they fixed a lot of the problems of Vermintide 1, didn't they?
Oh, yeah, they made it a lot better and stuff like that. I would sit there and say that this game feels like an evolution on Left 4 Dead. The levels are interesting. It's a set script and stuff like that. Like, every level kind of feels like well-designed and stuff like that, but the hordes really do make it a lot different, and they're a lot more vicious than Left 4 Dead and stuff like that. Like, Left 4 Dead, I didn't really panic when there was a horde coming along. Whereas, like, Vermintide, it's like, a horde comes. Oh, great! Lots of barbarians. Fuck! Mm-hmm. And each character kind of has a lot of, like, little things. Although I still feel that it needs coach.
Any game that you play, you're like, man, where's coach?
No. Titanfall 2 is perfect.
Okay.
Destiny, meh. No amount of coach could improve Destiny 2 to an extent.
Not even 5 coaches.
Not even 5 coaches could improve Destiny 2. Although if they did add coach, it would make the game slightly better in some way. But that would not change any of the DLC crap that they pulled.
I can't wait for the next DLC.
Overwatch, if it had coach in it, who literally just sat around and made fun of Diva 24/7, he would be my new main. Make him a tank, give him a fire axe as his ultimate, have him run around. Even the demo man. Like, that's what Overwatch needs. It just needs the demo man from Team Fortress 2 to just sit there and just swagger around and be like, if I was a bad demo man, I wouldn't be standing here right in front of you. That's what that game needs. But Vermintide 2, if it had coach, I would feel very happy. Mm-hmm. Just give him an alt that's just source filmmaker.
What do you do in the alt?
And not the bad kind of source filmmaker, just the meme garbage that is source filmmaker.
So, but what do you do? Is just point and click and you win?
No, it's just all of a sudden, like, it's just like he just walks around with dock shoes and he's just starts going, like, music starts playing and stuff like that. Yes.
And people randomly turn into no texture or error texture.
Yeah. Yes. Perfect. We designed Coach. Add Coach to your game.
And make money.
Now watch, Blizzard will add a character called Coach and it will be terrible and I will hate them forever for it. It will not be funny.
I was going to say, someone's hearing this podcast be like, we should add a Coach character to our game.
Yes. We should add Coach to our game.
Look, to the one other game designer who's listening right now, please add Coach to your game.
Don't do it. Don't
do it.
Do it. Don't ruin my ideas. I'm ruining them.
Do it.
And in other news, I also listened to a Berserk metal album.
How metal is it? There's no way there's a punchline you can make up for that.
Well, it's very metal. It's so metal that it made me, like, cream my pants and jizz right in front of my coworkers. And while they're sitting there going, what the fuck, they removed the headphones and then they immediately, like, fell over and died, bursting into flames.
Bursting into flames? Just...
Yeah. I don't know, that game is... It's okay.
I was going to say I haven't listened to this, but does it go through the story of Berserk, or does it...
No, it's just like set pieces and stuff like that.
Oh, I see. So, I was going to say, who did the album, or where did it come from?
I came from a band called... I don't know, I'm going to look at my phone right now.
Because I'm all... Because between you, me, and Allan...
Beast in Black. So
Beast in Black.
Yeah, it's okay. I like it.
Because between you and me and Allan, I like metal, just as much as any other guy who likes metal. I'm probably more in the genre of power metal that has clean vocals. So I'm not sure what you would even call that. But, I like something that has, clear vocals that, sounds like it's very angelic. It is uplifting. And then there's, I think Allan could probably agree to this, is that he's more into growly, more from the depths of hell.
This is depths from hell and stuff like that.
Yeah. And for me, I'm all about the angelic higher vocals. So it was like getting the sword from the high and whatever. Yeah, so it's like for a type of metal albums just based on Berserk, I picture it just being about all they got my girlfriend and they fucked her and the devil. Gotta go kill them later.
My soul is damned. Whereas me, I'm like, that's nice. I'm going to listen to this Berserk metal.
Because really, the entirety of that show is, and also the manga itself, really fucking dark. Like, really, really dark. And it's just kind of, it just gets to a point of, like, if it's not death metal or, like, the growly metal, then what metal is it, really?
It's very angelic.
Okay. Oh, so I was gonna say, what was your review of this metal album? Would you say it's like decent? What did you say? Like it's
all right.
It's like
all right.
Like I was gonna say,
you know what? Like the last album I actually listened to. I'm sorry for talking over you.
Oh, okay.
But the last album I listened to was all the way through was Metal Light.
Okay.
And the album is called, I think it's called A Place and Time. Hold on. It's a very good song.
Hold on.
Metal.
Hold on. Hold on.
It's called Heroes in Time.
Okay.
And that one is very good and stuff like that, and I recommend it. The Berserk album, its tone is very different because what they're pulling from is death, destruction, and stuff like that. Like, there's literally 3 songs that are called Hell. Hell, 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 hell. And I'm going to read, and like, well, it does, I do like the song and stuff like that. Like, you have Blind and Frozen, which is very good. And there's a lot of very intricate guitar things, but for, like, most people, I don't think they're going to like it. Because most people are like, I like Taylor Swift.
Well, of course. Like, it's metal. Like, it's not going to appeal to everyone.
And here's the thing, is like, if you like metal and stuff like that, I think you will enjoy it.
Like, out of all the music genres, I think metal is both niche and also branching out to most genres, because I think almost any person you talk to, you can at least have some degree of conversation about metal, of whether it's Rush or whether it's...
Is Rush metal, though?
I think so. Like,
I
they
don't
have
think
some...
Rush is metal.
I think they're metal. Well, they have a lot of licks in their music. Like, a lot. And I would say that they're probably more progressive metal, and or maybe even what's it called, acoustic metal, or just instrumental metal, because like a lot of it is just them hammering away on their instruments, and then that's cool. I mean, I listen to a band called Animals as Leaders, and that's the entire band is just hammering away on their instruments, and it's all completely set to metal. So really, because like it's both like at the same time, like I said, very narrow and outreaching at the same time. It's like this weird branching tree. And when it comes to like, hey, I'm gonna like this pop music, what other pop music should listen to? It's like, well, probably not metal, but hey, take a listen to these bands, you might like them.
Yeah, like, you nailed the point on the head.
Yeah. Or I was going to say, if anyone likes pop music and you're like, man, what metal band should I take a listen to for my first go? I think actually it's like off the top of my head, it'd be probably Rush.
Yes.
I think Rush at first. Then, but if you're like, but I kind of want something like more to the vocals or more artsy or something, then okay, I suggest Dream Theater. Just like, if you're gonna like, oh, what album Dream Theater? Because there's like 20 of them. Just listen to their first album. I think just go find their first album, listen to that, and see if you like it whatsoever. And then another suggestion of metal, which is a different genre. See if I can find a decent power metal band. One I've been listening to, or actually, Protest the Hero, I would say, is actually right up there. Of like, oh, hey, take a listen to this. This is still metal. It's still fast, but yet there have, it's some growly, but it's like you can actually still listen to what they're saying, and it's actually pretty decent. It's not like totally you can't understand a single word they're saying. And yeah, I think I would go like pretty much in that order, because like when someone's like, "Oh, I want to listen to metal," it's like, well, there's several different subgenre of metal you got to listen to or figure out what's your genre. Because even when someone's like, "Oh, I like pop music," but it's like, no, you're probably into like rock pop or rap pop or I don't know, J-pop,
Yeah, J-pop. Here's the thing: is that like when people sit there and say to me like, "You gotta listen, we're gonna listen to K-pop or J-pop," I'm just like,
I can listen to some J-pop, but yeah, it does get
there
to
is good J-pop and good K-pop.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie. Unless it's Eurobeats, I don't care.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Unless I can sit there and drive my car and then throughout the mountains and be like, yeah, I can make this drift. Yeah, I can make this drift. Oh, man, I'm so amped I'm going to make this drift.
You're wondering,
I don't care.
If the night's on fire?
Yes. Am I going to be forever young?
Am I running through the 90s right now?
Yes. I don't know, Josh. Will I be a Spitfire?
Oh man, we gotta find more Europop because that stuff is
Eurobeats,
amazing.
yeah.
Or Eurobeat. I mean, that stuff is amazing.
I mean, I'm on the top right now. If you catch my drift.
Ah, yes.
Yes.
That's another one that should be a Eurobeat song. You catch my drift.
Catch my drift.
It's so good.
That was so beautiful. That was a good name. Somebody make that.
Someone, okay, so to the other listener who's into music, could you please make a song called but Eurobeat though? It has to be style Eurobeat. You catch my drift. And it's all initial. It has to be racing based too, because I mean, this is initial D we're talking about here.
Yes, it's initial D, and we can't not have this.
Actually, you know what? I'm gonna Google that just to see if there is a Eurobeat called "You Catch My Drift."
Oh my god, it's gonna be something else, and you're gonna be sad.
Oh, I'm gonna be so sad. Here, hold on. Eurobeat. You catch my drift. Oh, damn it. All I get is initial D.
That's perfect. Catch my... Mm-hmm.
Oh, well. Now I'm just going to listen to initial D as soon as we're done this podcasting, because I got the freaking Nights on Fire stuck in my head now.
Well, I think that's the episode.
Yeah. Unless you want to talk about Easter itself or something.
I mean, we could talk about dicks.
Or actually, you want it? I got a memory of Easter I could probably share. I'm not sure if I talked about this before, but there's one Easter. So my mother did some Easter
Holy
hunts.
Shit!
What?
I'm sorry, but continue.
Anyway, so my mom would do some Easter hunts for me and my brother when we were younger. And, she would make some clues of where the next clue is and keep going around the house with clues. And then it's like, okay, your thing is blank and blank spot. Or, oh, your item's over here and your item's over there. Oh, now go look in the stove and your item's there. And it's like, yay, we're having fun and figure out clues. And we're having fun. But this one year, we're doing the Easter egg hunt. And we're, doing the Easter egg hunt. We woke up and we're like, oh, hey, Easter. Oh, yeah, we got to hunt. Let's go find our eggs and stuff like that. So going around, figuring out the clues. And my brother, who is at clue 3, and I was probably at 4 or 5 or something, because there's about 7 clues. But he at clue 3, he went, oh, I should go over here. And he just opens up the oven, and that's where his stupid Easter egg gift is. And I was like, the fuck? It's like, how did you figure that out? And I look at this clue. It doesn't remotely say anything about the oven whatsoever. I'm like,
he had a sense.
It's like, how did you fucking see that at all? And his brother's like, and I'm like, of course. Maybe you took a peek when mom was fucking just putting that shit out there, huh? Did you? Huh? Finally, when my brother just blew out the gasket on the freaking scavenger hunt, I'm like, Mom, can you just tell me where my stupid thing is? I don't want to do it anymore.
I'm done.
So she's like, it's downstairs in the dryer. I'm like, oh, that's okay, thanks.
There are worse things that could happen.
Yeah, I mean, at least it wasn't like, oh no, the dryer's turned on, and then the Easter thing I got you was in the dryer. Shit.
In other news, I think that's the end of the podcast.
Yes.
I think we have to end the show and switch topics to another show. So this was recorded right around the time of Christmas when Allan and Rory both saw Star Wars. And this is special.
Yeah.
special in the idiocy, because they have a lot of complaints, valid complaints, I would say. I don't know, Josh, what would you call them?
They had the same discussion points as I did about the movie of like, what the fuck is going on? Like,
why did you do this?
Yeah, pretty much. Like, that's about what sums up everything about that movie of like, what the fuck is going on?
Why is the universe broken?
Yeah, why is everything so jank?
Is Kylo going to turn evil? Is he going to be good? I don't know.
Yeah, whatever.
But we didn't feel like leaving you with a short show this episode, so we did that.
Staple on something else together on it. Just, there we go.
Make it better. So that's what we're doing for this episode, and I hope everyone enjoys it.
Oh, boy.
So, have a good night, guys.
Bye.
All right. Okay. Well, is Josh here, or is it?
Yeah,
no, it's just you and me now. Welcome to the Black Mind Podcast episode, whatever the fuck. I still think we haven't decided on exactly what episode it is. But now that the parents are away, we can start to have some real fun. Yeah, I mean, probably. I mean, okay, so now that it's just us, we definitely need to fucking talk about Star Wars.
Here's the thing about Star Wars. Hold up. Okay, actually, no. Spoilers are... this is your warning. This is your warning. This is your warning. Leave now if you have not seen this movie.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about Star Wars for a hot minute. And, like, we'll make Jeff or whoever edits this podcast now edit in, like... a timestamp so that like people can skip it. This I promise you, someone will do that, and if they don't, blame them, not me.
We have done our best to like put up a spoiler.
Yeah, I did my best. I like made a vague promise on someone else's behalf. That's my best.
That's normal for you though.
You make me, man, you really go out of your way to make me out to be some sort of horrible person. I have been nothing but nice to you the entirety of the time I've known you. I'm sorry, I couldn't say that with a straight face.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask the question. Did you enjoy it?
Yes.
Okay, next question. Did you think it was good? On a scale, let's say on a scale of 1 to 10. Do you think it was good?
I don't think so. I legitimately don't know. So I'm gonna get into the biggest problem I have with this movie right away. Why the fuck did they do half the shit they did? Like, some of the stuff that happened was cool, but, like, why, though? So we're going to, like, launch into the biggest spoiler right away. Is that fucking... Okay,
No.
You got something to say.
The same questions I just answered you real quick. I enjoyed it for the most part, but I think out of 10, I'd give it a 6 to 7, somewhere in there at most.
Okay. I feel like numbers are purely arbitrary, so I'm really bad at, like, applying them to things.
I try to give it a number just so like here's something tangent you can grab onto and then you can like nitty gritty it from there. That's how I do it. All right. Okay. What's the first thing that you're gonna ask? Why the fuck did you do this? Because I have a big one for me. Oh, jeez. We're going there first.
Okay. So Snoke fucking dies in this movie, like, hard. And the way he does is actually really cool because, like, okay. So I'll get into that in a minute. But okay, what are the fucking stakes for the third movie? Because this is like the second act in a 3-act story. Like, this is the point. Like, the end of this movie should have been where the heroes were at their lowest and things were at their darkest. So why does it feel like this movie has de-escalated the situation?
Why? Actually, here's my real big question for this fucking movie. Because Jesus fucking Christ, this movie. I agree with you. Why did we introduce Snoke in this movie and then kill him off within, like, 10 minutes of screen time in that entire movie? Sure. Holy fuck.
Like, Snoke was barely there. And he was a proper intimidating villain.
Pulls the lightsaber. He just goes, nah.
And he rolls his eyes and beats the child down.
He emasculates Hux on the bridge in a way that's spectacular and cool. You see him just rip Kylo Ren to shreds with just words. I'm like, this is a fantastic villain. And they kill him. And then they kill all the Praetorian Guard in the most cringy fight ever.
Okay, so I actually like that fight.
But it's still fucking cringy. Because, holy fuck, still hasn't received any training, and Master, and the one who hasn't received any training has to save the Jedi Master. The fuck?
Okay, like, I'm okay with it because, like, no matter how, like, even if like these dudes are badasses in the lore, they are faceless goons versus, like, the main characters. It's the same reason the Millennium Falcon can outrun fucking, like, every Empire ship in the game, even though it's a piece of shit. Because, like, if they're main characters, then they're gonna win against the faceless goons.
But at the same time, I'm like, why would you introduce? It's the same question you just asked. Why would you introduce this character just to kill him off? 20 minutes later.
Okay, so, like, I have that question, like, 3 times in this movie.
Phasma?
With Commander What's-Her-Face?
By the way...
No. Phasma, okay, so I'll get to Phasma in a minute. No, I'm talking about, like, pink hair, fights with Poe.
SJW. I mean, Admiral Hodo. That's her name,
Yeah,
Admiral Hodo.
Okay, sure.
Okay, here's the thing.
Yes, that's her name. Okay, why not Admiral
because
Akbar?
he gets blown out. He gets vetted into space with Leia. Which, by the way,
yeah, but, like, okay, so he could easily not have been blown out into space. We'll talk about Leia in a minute. Oh my God, this is going to be a long podcast. Okay, why not just not have Admiral Akbar die and then have that whole, like, arc between the Admiral and Poe be, like, with Admiral Akbar, this recognizable character that people like, instead of introducing this new character who, spoilers, just fucking dies at the end of it anyway.
You want to know why they couldn't have Admiral Akbar? You want to know why they couldn't have Admiral Akbar? Because Admiral Akbar would have had a plan. He would have pulled some fucking, fucking the Akbar slash out of nowhere. He'd be like, oh, by the way, I've been holding these ships in reserve the whole time. Beep. And a fucking fleet shows up. And he just fucking goes, it's a trap, motherfucker. So, and I would have been like, Akbar, yes.
Yeah, but, like, okay, if anyone should have been able... Okay, so, the thing about the movie I liked... Fucking warp speed crash. That is the perfect thing to give Admiral Akbar. What a send-off to, like, a recognizable character.
In all the, like, expanded lore, we hear about, like, hyperspace jumps where, like, they go wrong and they smash into another ship and they just shred the ships that are included in the destruction or nearby. And I'm like, this is fantastic. And this was put into motion and, like, it's done so beautifully on screen. I'm like, I want to go back and see that just for that scene. I'm going to go see it again. But it's Admiral fucking Hodo, a character we get introduced to in the fucking middle of the movie, I think 40 minutes into the movie, who dies 40 minutes later.
Yeah, like, why? Just take that character out, make it Admiral Akbar, and, like, I wouldn't have okay.
She's not even in it.
Oh man, why though?
More frustrating is, like, Poe Dameron. Poe Dameron. I actually like him because he gets fantastic character development.
I do like Poe.
Because
A lot more in this movie than the last one, honestly. I didn't think he got enough screen time last one.
But the thing is, for Hodo and Poe Dameron is actually her second in command at this point, because there's no other ranking officers. There's no majors. There's no colonels. It's her and him, and he's asking the question of, what the fuck are we doing? And she's like, don't. And I'm like,
and she just doesn't tell him.
Admiral, because your second command is legit, is asking straight to your face. We need a plan. What's the plan? And you're like,
what is the plan?
Have hope.
And you say, don't worry about it. And then like, what the fuck did you expect? Of course he's gonna go off and like, okay, so like I'm Admiral, like insert name here. Everyone else is dead. I've got like one captain left, and I know he's like a cocky hotshot.
Yes.
I have a plan, but I'm not gonna tell him. Yeah, that'll make sure that this cocky hotshot doesn't do something wild and unpredictable.
My other favorite thing about this about this movie is the fact that like it's a great subversion when Leia pops up and fucking stuns him. I'm like, that's cool. Leia gets to do some cool shit in this movie. Actually, but again, you had the golden opportunity to vent her from the series, and I do mean it in that sense, and in a way that I was like, oh my god, is this how we're killing her off on screen this way? Where all the things in the trailer is just a fucking like a ploy to like make us think that she survives? No, she space Leia. I'm like,
just like flies back down, and that was pretty sick. So I'm wondering okay, because like Carrie Fisher's dead now, like in real life. So like, what the fuck are they gonna do? Because Leia's still around at the end of the movie.
Why didn't you just like make that the scene where she dies?
Makes us wonder.
I have to assume that they had like stuff planned for her, and maybe it's already shot. Like she probably has like a big role to play in the third movie. Then again, maybe this series is just gonna like not make any sense, like structurally, from a perspective story structure.
The original plan, from what I've heard, was that episode 7 was supposed to be like Han's passing the torch. Episode 8 was supposed to be Luke's passing the torch, and then the final one's supposed to be Leia's big story. But Leia's dead now. Surprise, surprise, motherfuckers! What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
So,
I don't know. That's something that we're gonna have to see how they handle it, because like that's kind of a difficult thing
we need to talk about your favorite
to
character.
do.
We need to talk about your favorite character now. No, Captain Phasma.
Okay, well, I mean, Captain Phasma's okay. Captain Phasma's pretty cool, but she hasn't done it. Okay, but all Captain Phasma does is lose so far.
Did you call her Captain Phasma?
That's all Captain Phasma's done. Like, I want to like Captain Phasma. Like, she's played by Brienne of Tarth, and like, she looks dope as hell. But like, she's loses.
Lost every fight she's been in.
Like I said, this is supposed to be the second act when things are at the darkest for their heroes, so that like they can triumph in the third movie. She should have beat the fuck out of Finn.
Pummeled him to a pulp, and then like the way that she gets saved is she gets knocked is that an explosion knocks her away from it, separates them again, and she's just like, "I'ma kill you," and he just escapes on like something like an escape pod or a shuttle, something like that. That would have been like,
like Finn, but Finn clearly wins. So like, okay, this comes back to the problem I had before, and that's like, so who's the big threat now? It's not Kylo. He throws a fucking tantrum and always loses. Like, he just whinges and cries and throws tantrums, and fucks up his entire side every time. There's like Hux is his name? I can't remember. General Bitch Tits, who literally everyone, like Poe, Snoke, Kylo, literally everyone just like treats him like a bitch, because he's a bitch. Like, he's not threatening.
Yeah, well, I'm not
looks like we might be able to get Josh in here. Yeah, okay.
Okay, but no, again, and like,
so like, and then Captain Phasma's a badass, but like, she loses. So like, who's the big threat on Team Bad Guy?
I mean, we had a fucking threatening captain at one point. You know, the guy on the Dreadnought who's like, who like sees Poe and he's taking our AA defenses. What should we do? We should have scrambled our fighters 10 minutes ago. Get him up there. I'm like, that's a captain I would serve under.
Nameless but competent admiral who dies. Yeah,
because he's actually competent. Hux is he's so bad. He's not interesting at all. He's a bitch tits.
Yeah, like exactly. He's literally everyone just treats him like garbage because they can get away with it because he's not a threat. And like they show a couple of times of he's gonna betray Kylo, but it's like big fucking deal.
Like Kylo has a cool moment where he's just like but the Supreme Leader's dead and he just fucking chokes him out. I'm just like, that's cool. Keep Kylo like that where he's like this cool, determined, angry. That like if you kept it.
Yeah, like Kylo betraying Snoke was one of my favorite parts of that movie. I really enjoyed that because like up to that point I was just thinking, man, why don't like people with the Force ever just like turn the lightsaber? Why like couldn't anyone with the Force just turn the lightsaber and press the button and he'd just be dead? And then he did it. I was like, oh hell yes.
You were like your nipples got real hard at that point. You're like, my theory has been confirmed.
Yeah, and then I thought Rey was gonna turn evil. Okay, she's like, I did have a pet theory that I've been nursing since the first movie, where Rey was going, like Snoke was going to be like draw Rey in as he did, and then like manipulate it so that Kylo and Rey had to fight to the death or somehow. Rey kills Kylo and then becomes like the big bad. And becomes the antagonist.
Great. I would have been like, yes, she gets to do something now. But
because then you've got all the Force sensitives on the bad guy team, and like the rebels are super fucked. That would have been such a good Act 2 climax. But like now it's just like, okay, Rey's already beaten Kylo, so they're like the rebels are already up a Force user, and like everyone on the bad guy side is like, okay, Finn's already beaten Phasma, Rey's already beaten Kylo, General Hux is a bitch. Literally no one on the bad guy team is threatening in the slightest.
With Hux at the start of the movie, it's like I'm on hold. Like you patch me through to General Hux. This is General Hux. You're speaking to me now. I'm just gonna.
Can I
still on hold.
Can I please speak to you?
Best to me when you're on. It's like, can you hear me?
Yeah,
because I can hear
him.
That's
okay. That's fine. I'll wait.
I was like, that's a fantastic scene, and that would have been
like that scene is great, and I loved it. I really liked Poe in this movie. I felt Poe was done really well.
He fucking got shafted in the second half.
Also, so like, what the fuck is up with Rey's character development? So like, typically this is the part in like a Star Wars story where the hero is tempted to like turn to the dark side, and Rey's kind of a little bit, but not really at all, even a little bit.
And I'm like, and then you see her go to the dark, where she goes where the dark side is, and it's like some self-introspect. And I'm
the
just
dark
like,
side is a mirror.
There was nothing there to like have her tempted. There was no risk there.
Yeah. Well, it's because Rey doesn't really want anything except, like, I guess her parents, and now her parent, like, the whole parent situation has been, like, completely diffused, which I actually liked, by the way, where, like,
your parents,
Kylo's just like, you know the truth, don't you? Your parents were nobody. They don't need to be anybody. Which on any other character I think would be awesome, but Rey's just so boring.
No, my big thing was the fact that by the way, I love the look of the First Order's fleet. I would 100% say I would be space Nazis with them. Dreadnought looks dope. I would be space Nazis straight out the bat. Why the fuck is the
hey, those Nazis, Nazi dressers.
Like, seriously, but like you look at the First Order and you go, I would totally be on their side because like when you look at their like rank and file or none of their like the main big bad guys, they're all fucking competent officers. They're like what do you expect them to do? But my problem with the first, the problem with the First Order is like their leadership, like the three named leadership are fucking retarded.
Yeah, exactly. The only one who was
Hux gets just dicked around with by everyone.
I feel like
Kylo Ren's a fucking pussy.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Snoke was like legit the only one. Like at the beginning of this movie, Snoke and Phasma were the only intimidating villains. Now they've both been beaten or dead.
And here's the thing: Hux,
So, like-
Hux had a really cool like intimidation moment. It's like, yeah, we've got them on a string, and like I'm like sitting there like, well, what do you mean? The only thing I can think of is like maybe like the positions of like where they can make hyperspace jumps to. Because at the start, by the way, fuck the start of fuck the opening scroll of this movie. The First Order reigns supreme. They now control the galaxy. It's been literally 10 hours since the destruction of fucking Starkiller Base. How do they own the galaxy?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they blew up like the core world, so I guess they
blew up
own.
the New Republic seat of power, which was the Hosnian system. Which, just so you know, every 5 years the seat of power was moved. So, in other words. What about the rest of the rest of the New Republic? I understand, like all the delegates.
Wait, was this just a bunch? Wait, hold on. Did they just blow up a bunch of nobody planets?
They didn't blow up Coruscant.
I thought that was like Coruscant that got hit.
That was Hosnian Prime that we see get blown up there. That was the current capital of the Republic because it gets shifted every 5 years to prevent.
Oh, well, that's what stakes continue to be lowered, I guess.
Is with the opening scroll, it makes it sound like the First Order has just gone through like a 2-month campaign to secure or like a 6 for me, when I heard the First Order reigns supreme, they control the galaxy, I'm like, but my first thought to my mind was at least 8 months of work right there because they have to subjugate all these systems. They can't guarantee that they'll immediately subject to them. And we know that they've got like planetary siege dreadnoughts now. You know, the dreadnought we see at the start of the movie. I'm like, the fancy dreadnought. I'm like, hey, by the way, the Bellator might actually be a thing now. But I'm sitting there, I'm like, and then we see, and the resistance are just evacuating their base. And I'm like, wait, how do they reign supreme? I understand that blitzkrieg tactics are a thing, but it's still at least 6 months work to subjugate the number of systems that are in the New Republic.
They have all the space boats. That's really not really like. I'm really okay. So I understand that you're a huge nerd who likes military logistics, but like your typical movie going audience and the plot don't really care about that sort of thing. So it kind of gets glossed over.
In like the jump between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back was a 2-year gap. The rebellion is on the run and all that stuff. And like you can tell just from the opening scroll, it's been a while. I'm like, okay, yeah. But again, like the way this one was done, I'm just like, there are questions being raised here that are not being answered because what? And like I that's the thing is like if the First Order, that is true. The difference between doesn't that mean like the resistance has already been kicked off that planet? Like they've been there, they've beaten the resistance. The resistance is on the run and taking any New Republic ships with them. And that's because just in a Force Awakens, the capital, the flagship of the resistance fleet at that time was Home 1. It was Akbar's ship that was the flagship at that point. So I'm like, okay, there's questions here because where the fuck is the Home 1? The Raddus is a cool ship because Admiral Raddus was fucking wicked. But again, I'm like, questions must be answered. But yeah, but also the fucking bombers are fucking retarded. They look.
Yeah, like we have Star Wars bombers. Why did you
reuse the B-wing? And I'm like, and my buddy actually said this fantastically to me. Is like, well, it's a strategic bomber. I'm like, yes, but when you're attacking a ship, it's not strategic. And he was like, actually, you make a good point there. I'm like, yeah, strategic targets, they're targets that don't move. They're like military base, space stations and stuff like that.
I mean, I guess that's like what they had at the time, but like, why didn't they have any of the? Okay, we're getting too deep. We need to get back to the core of like the core. No, Allan, we can't talk about ship designs when we have plot to talk about.
The T-wing. You want to know what it's called? You want to know
That's also a good point. What is it called?
As in the B-17. So again, why didn't you just call it the T-wing and just run with it because it looks like a giant T? You had the golden opportunity. What the fuck, Disney?
Although the fact that we are talking about like the bombers means that this is a pretty good segue for Rose. Because we need to talk about that.
Hire that is also communist, who's Asian. So I'm like, China?
Okay. Okay. So I don't have a problem with Rose herself in that I don't understand why we needed both Rose and the Codebreaker as characters. I actually like him as a character, but like I feel like there are okay, so I actually don't mind him much, and like actually now that I think about it, if he just straight up like turns around, joins the Empire, and turns out to be just like a fucking military wizard, I think he could be a good bad guy
for the Resistance, because like the Resistance is all about sneaky outmaneuvering and like doing that stuff, and then there's this
just like unorthodox, charismatic military leader. He could totally nail that. Okay. Well, I like the fact that I'm now doing a podcast on my own. That's real great. Ew. Hey, gentle listener. How's it going? It's me, Rory. I know I'm not on every episode of this podcast, but I'm on the important ones.
Could you imagine him being
hello?
Like the new
Allan?
Could you just like
I could, yeah. Like he seems a bit too self-interested, but like he could easily just transfer into like because he's clearly like a smart guy.
Oh yeah,
obviously, but like just have like and like pretty charismatic.
He has
so
a really
like
cool, character setup too, where he's just like first order, and I'm just like.
He's also not a loser, which puts him like head and shoulders above the other villains in this series.
Snoke's dead now, so.
But Snoke's dead now.
Hux actually was like pretty fucking solid because he's like, we can't. Well, the supremacy can't keep up with them, and we can't risk our ships getting fucking caught out nowhere against that one ship. They don't want to risk their ships, so like, well, we'll stay in formation. And we'll just pick at them from long range because we know they'll eventually run out of fuel. And when they do, we'll just blow them up one at a time. And I'm like, that was fantastic. That was a really cool idea. And I'm just like, that's cool. But like, you have like 12 ships backing you up. Send 2 of them forwards. Chase them with vengeance.
Yeah, actually, okay. So we are dumping on like the villains of this movie a lot, which I do want to specify one thing. Okay, I think some of the heroes. I like Poe Dameron. I'm not a huge fan of Rey. We'll talk about Luke later because that's a whole other can of worms. But I do want to say
they could have been so cool. And then they do nothing with them.
Okay, so like as much as I like to bitch about like Kylo's not a threat, I do like him as a villain because he's a sympathetic villain. He's a villain whose like motivations make sense. I do like him as a villain. I just don't think he's intimidating enough to be the main villain. Like, and I like making fun of him for having tantrums all the time, but I like that fucking just having tantrums is just everything about him. It's his fighting style. It's his way of dealing with everything. It's the reason. It's his Achilles heel. It's everything. He is very emotional, which is what a Sith should be, because Sith gain power from their emotions. He just doesn't do it. Yeah, but that half as long, twice as bright, my dude. Like that's like. I like Kylo Ren. I just don't understand how they're going to maintain how the villains are going to be threatening without Snoke.
This character we've built up for the past 2 movies to be like the big bad, and then just be promptly killed.
And which was so good, but I'm just like, but what now though? What? Like you could have done that in the 3rd movie, and it would have been equally as sick and made more sense from a structural point. But we got massively fucking sidetracked. We needed to talk about like Rose's arc.
As I said earlier, token diversity hire who's Asian and also a communist, and I'm like, but why though? Because she does nothing, and then. Fucking Finn has a moment where he has an immense bravery where he's like, to save the resistance, to keep them alive, to make sure they survive, I will sacrifice myself by going like destroying this weapon with my life. Right? He has this moment where I'm like, oh my god, this is an Imperial Guard moment.
And then
yes, and then she fucking rams him out of the sky. I'm like, no,
like. Yeah, I was like, don't dive out. I'm like,
Jeff linked that fucking meme in the other chat, which is if we kill our enemies, they win, which is our Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. I was like, oh.
Okay, so how? Tell me how much you like this one better. Okay, so don't have Rose as a character, but instead like make her sister, who is in the bomber, survive by the skin of her teeth, and then like she like and then she and Finn can like have their like duo thing where they go and get the code breaker. But she's like the more aggressive one, whereas Finn's the one who's like, hey, calm down here a little bit, and then she's the one who like gets the glorious burn and fire moment. Because then Finn gets to live. We have a character that like comes into the movie and leaves, but has a bit more purpose.
And on top
than
of that,
like
she's an
Admiral Hodo,
because she's a bomber gunner. She's a bomber gunner. She understands it.
Exactly.
Anytime she goes out in these bombers, it's a live or die situation because these bombers are, as you see in this movie, insanely slow and made out of paper mache. Fuck those bombers.
Hell, the backstory could be the same. She could hold the same values, like you said, space communist. Which, like I don't mind that a character holds those values. It doesn't really matter too much. It's just that the character could have been executed better and had more purpose.
I agree. She could have been like, I wouldn't have minded if the character was space communist, if it was executed, well. But the thing with fucking Rose is she just did nothing but like purpose. She's like, oh look, capitalism is bad. Oh look, if you kill our enemies, they win. What the fuck? I can't get.
Like, I think it would have been better, like if you had that did have that like Imperial Guard moment.
I was like,
it was her instead, because that could have been a huge for like Finn's development. It would have made for an amazing moment.
I'm not gonna lie, I got blue balled so hard there. I was rock hard. I'm like Imperial Guard moment, Imperial motherfucker. You don't understand how much I was like, this is a great way for like Finn to have a great end of a character, because like he's no longer a coward at this point. He's fighting for something. He's like prepared to die for it now.
I feel like Finn's
and then they take it away from him.
Like, I'm no longer a coward moment should happen in the third movie.
He's had so many of this one.
But like, if it had been the other way around, and like Rose's sister had been one to fly into the thing, that could have had a huge effect on him and like been a huge part of the like. It would have been so much better. Like, I don't know, man. Okay, I think we need to move on to a different part of the movie. So I feel like, unless you've got something else we need to talk about, Luke.
There's one other thing I want to talk about related to the fucking movie.
Okay, hit me up. We've been talking about Star Wars for like half an hour, by the way. I'm so happy. Welcome to the Christmas Star Wars cast.
Maybe twice. But
yeah, hell yes.
For me, though, with this movie is I like the idea of the new hyperspace tracking system. I love the idea of it. It's actually really clever. It's like, yeah, it's a new technology and it's still in experimental stages. And you see like the way it's done. It's like I was like, yeah, it makes sense. And then my like immediate question was like, but we know the Empire has interdiction technology, so why isn't that a thing? Like, that was my immediate response to hyperspace tracking. I'm like, okay, I get that. That's a really cool idea. I love the idea of it. It adds so much to the plot. But what about interdictors?
Okay, it's because technology is... Okay, because technology in the Star Wars universe doesn't really matter. In that it's supposed to be a space western. The technology is there to give it a space theme and be like convenient to the plot at the time. Like, because the technology of the level of the Star Wars universe never goes up from like Old Republic to current stuff. Just like, it's the same. It's the same. And that's like 4,000 years. Like, even in Old Republic games, there are advances in technology.
Where the progress of technology was.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly. And like, over the course of like the 4,000 years between like Old Republic era and like movies era, like Like, even in the Old Republic games, there are advances in technology that whoop the shit out of anything in the movies era, but it's just not there in the movies. Because, like, presumably it got lost or whatever, but, like, it's because the technology level of the Star Wars franchise doesn't really
I get that.
matter.
I get that. This
so
is
going for,
like having a little nerd moment, like, but interdictors. We know the Empire had them. We know they had them actually in quite large numbers by the end of the war because they've actually expanded in the expanded universe. They've actually explained that, like, during the Battle of Jakku, they had like 4 or 5 available to them at that battle, and that was the reason why the battle became such a slugging fest rather than like the quick rebel victory that they've been experiencing. That was the reason why that happened. And like, I'm like, but why though? But I can get where you're coming from. Like, it's meant to be like, oh look. Sci-fi fantasy universe. It's a
space western.
It's Space Odyssey, literally. It's okay. This is actually kind of the reason why I kind of sit down and I look at I like Star Trek because Star Trek is sci-fi, whereas Star Wars is high fantasy. It's space fantasy, and that's the difference between the series. I love Star Wars because it's this fantasy universe, like, hey, set in space, and I'm like, yes, but at the same time there are little things where I'm like, hang on, time out for a moment. But that's just me. Okay, we're gonna talk about Luke now.
Yeah,
come on, we gotta get
okay.
I need to rage about this in a minute, but you go first.
Okay, so I actually really like Luke in this movie. And I don't know if you're going to agree with that, but I really like Luke in this movie.
Okay, no. Do you like him, how he acts, or do you like what they've done with his background?
Oh, I like him as a character.
Okay, no, I agree with you. I love crotchety old fucking Luke. I love fucking crotchety old man Luke. It's great.
Yeah,
He's fucking amazing for that. I hate what they've done with the character, though.
Okay, so explain why. Because I imagine this is coming from the place of, like, Mark Hamill got the gag order when he said he didn't agree with the things Luke did.
No. I sat down, and when I heard Mark Hamill say that, I was like, okay, you know what? I'm gonna go into the movie and I'm gonna see what he means. I'm gonna see what's going on with the movie. And for me, like, the thing that makes me stop and go, what the fuck did the fucking writers, is the moment where it's like Luke goes to kill his fucking nephew. I'm like, what the fuck? He like 10 years, like 20 years earlier, he saves his father from the dark side in probably like the most like heroic fashion of going to face him and then like literally being faced down with death and either like giving him the chance to either like save Vader or die at Palpatine's hands or kill Palpatine and become what his father was. And I'm like, that's the point. He is both light and darkness. And then you just see in this movie, it's just like, nah. My nephew was filled with darkness, so I decided that, like, in a moment of like instinct, I pull up my lightsaber. I'm like, but you had the same moment in the instinct moment when you cut off Vader's hand.
Yeah, okay, but here's the thing. In like the original trilogy, like, he has that moment where he's fighting them, but he doesn't go through with it. And then it's the same thing. He has that instinct, but doesn't go through with it.
I get that, but the thing is he pulls out his lightsaber and turns it on, and I'm like, why though? It makes no sense for this character to do that. It makes absolute no sense because it just what is the point in you like making a new Jedi Order if you're just gonna repeat the same mistakes? And like that was the entire point of his character in like all the
So here's the thing. I think you're blowing it a bit out of proportion because it's very specific in the fact that he has doubts, but then sticks to like the guns he had. Like he has a moment, but then goes, no, that's bad.
Too bad Kylo wakes up and probably tries to kill him.
Yeah, but like there had to be an inciting incident.
No. The way it was described in The Force Awakens, and I actually agreed with this one where it was Snoke corrupted Ben so completely that like Ben basically kills the Order while Luke's away, and then Luke comes back to discover that. That would have been like Luke should have had nothing to do with the fall.
But that would have made
Ben.
like Kylo's character a lot less, like that would have like destroyed the value of Kylo's character, I feel, or at least reduced it somewhat.
I would have preferred reduced value on Kylo's character to
I think there's definitely probably a better middle ground that would have allowed like both of those character arcs to have meaning. Whereas if like Kylo, like how can Kylo have like all these doubts and conflict now after he's like already killed his dad and stuff? If like the inciting incident was like Snoke going, "Hey, come to the dark side. We've got cookies."
Well, no, the
fall to the dark side needed to make sense. Otherwise, you just have another whingy Anakin.
Well, no, the way I think I would have done it is because they do a fantastic explanation as to why like they keep blaming Snoke with Leia and Han, where they're like, no, it was Snoke's fault. It's Snoke's fault. Because in the books, and like I understand that like the movies and the books don't have to connect each other. In the books, Leia and Han are just never around. Han's out doing smuggling. Leia's out doing diplomacy. I'm like, oh.
Okay, well, see, I think from a perspective like Luke's character arc as well, it was also necessary because why would he have given up as hard as he does in that movie if it wasn't his fault? If he didn't believe it was his fault?
Oh no! That's the thing is I understand like that like I can agree with that point. Like
I feel that the inciting incident could have been better, but it got the characters to the point they needed to be for those arcs to work out the way they did.
Yeah, but that's the real big point for me is like to get to that point you have to destroy one of your characters, and it doesn't work if you have to destroy this one character to get like this new character that everybody just calls a whinging fucking crybaby because he is a whinging fucking crybaby.
I mean, they could. I think they could have rephrased it a different way. Like off the top of my head, it could have been like a whole like Luke has PTSD thing, and then like threaten Kylo Ren without really understanding what he was doing. Like he's just seeing Darth Vader.
The way I think I would have preferred it is Kylo. Let's how about this? And this is me being like this is a real cool fan theory. Kylo at a young age decides that you know what, I don't want to be like my uncle. I don't want to be like my grandfather. I just want to be my own thing. And then he leaves the Order, and the incentive, and then ends up founding the Knights of Ren, who end up going to serve Snoke. That would have been interesting because like Luke going out of his way to like start like fighting the Knights of Ren and just goes for the kill on Kylo and just sees, oh no, this is my nephew, and his nephew's just like, you are just as bad as I thought you were, and then takes off and completely.
But then the relationship wouldn't have been nearly as personal.
I know, but I just.
See, there's a balance of emotions that you have to hit in order for like what's happening to make sense. So I feel like the best way they could have done it is keep it mostly the same, but have like, why would Luke really be haunted by like the past with Darth Vader and Palpatine? Like they could work that angle, but like things worked out pretty well, all things considered. Like he got closure. His dad's soul is like free or whatever. Like, I don't know. I feel like there was no way to have that relationship be the way it is without like there being something to nitpick. I feel like the way that they ended up going is the one with the least problems. Because it's a moment of weakness that spirals off into a horrible, horrible problem.
I get that, but like at the same time, I just feel like it's so dumb because he goes at him when he's asleep.
Yeah, they also could have done something different with that. Like the circumstances could change, and I think it could be better.
I think the way it should have been is Luke is like, okay, let's say Luke and Kylo are meditating, and like Luke is like, okay, you need to focus your inner hate, you need to calm your inner hatred, all that stuff. And then Kylo Ren. Let's say Kylo Ren has a violent outburst. Let's say something like that.
As he does, Kylo Ren throws a tantrum.
Where he just can't bring himself to be centered. He picks up his lightsaber and starts just wailing on things, and Luke has to intervene. But it gets to the point where like Luke has to like almost like get to the point where he has to get to the point where he has the lightsaber to his neck and be like, "You need to stop." And that would have been like, "There you go." Inciting incidents, go.
Yeah, okay, but then like that is an inciting incident that could break trust between people. But then like no, Luke didn't fuck up in that situation.
Yeah,
he has to fuck up to feel that guilt, or for that guilt to be genuine.
That's the reason why I can't stand what they've done with Luke. Is like he fucked up in an Empire Strikes Back to the point where like Han gets turned into carbonite. He finds out that one of the most hated men in the universe is his father, and he loses an arm. He fucks up, but he gets his closure at the end of Return of the Jedi. But it's just like he fucks up in such a way that he just goes off and becomes a hermit. And I'm like, what? What? Okay. So okay. So aside from like the fact that the inciting incident is divisive between the two of us at the very least, I think it's fine. You don't like it. But like the rest of the stuff involving Luke, I really like. I really like that he's fucking giving up. I love crotchety old Luke. I loved fucking Ghost Skywalker at the fucking end against the fucking battle.
Oh god, yes. Where like he just shows up and I'm like, okay, there's no way he's actually here. And he walks out and the fucking like blaster fire happens and I'm like, oh my god, it's just a force projection. Oh god, I've seen this before. This is gonna be so sick. He's gonna step out of the thing like a badass. And then he did it. I was so fucking hyped. And then the fucking lightsaber battle starts and he's just dodging. I'm like, yeah, because he's a projection. He's not really there. It was real good. I like that scene a lot. And I also like the fact that like because like Luke's like shut himself away because he's guilty and he feels like he fucked up, which he did. But like he's still got room to grow and learn, which is why they bring in like Yoda for that one scene. Yeah, by the way, Josh, we're kind of discussing heavy spoilers if you care about that. Okay. But like, which brings you to the scene with the whole like the scene where like you have to like sit him down and say, okay, like what's in these books isn't as important as like just figuring shit out for yourself. Like he still learns, he gains wisdom. He's like still a developing character, even though he's like older now, which I really liked. That being said, I have one problem with that scene.
Where in the fuck is Jar Jar Binks?
Okay, Josh. No, wait, is Allan still even here? Allan, did you die?
No, he said he got to be on his phone or some shit.
Oh fuck, motherfucker! All right. Well, I guess we can cut this part out. Or actually, hold on. No, you and me will just talk about shit.
Well, we need to sync.
Oh, well, I mean, we're already recording.
I'm recording.
Okay, all right. We'll wait till Allan gets back and then we'll sync.
Yeah.
All right, hold on. When did you leave?
Yeah. I left when you started ranting about like crotchety old Luke. I had a phone call from my grandparents.
Okay. Well, whoever is going to do that part out, we're going to sync because Josh is here now.
Yeah. But yeah.
Well, we'll talk about that and then we'll sync and then we'll talk about that, okay?
Yeah. Sync in 3, 2, 1.
That's the third sync of this podcast. Welcome to the Black Mind Games podcast episode, whatever the fuck it is, part B. Yep. Now that Josh is here, the amount of dicks has risen by 400%.
Yeah.
Or at least dicks talked about.
Damn it, we don't need
a number of dicks. I don't know how many. Well, I mean,
Kylo
I've never seen what's in Josh's pants. He could have lots. Anyway, so I don't know when
we're gonna really quickly finish about crotchety old Luke.
Yes, I really like crotchety old Luke. I love the scene.
I love
where
crotchety
he
old
force projects to like the other side of the galaxy for that
dude.
battle. And like when he showed up, I'm like, he's not really there. And then
I
he
was
does the
like-
thing where he
I
like
like-
walks out, and I'm like, oh shit, he's a motherfucking force projection. And then the blaster's all open fire. It's like, it ain't gonna do shit, and he's gonna walk out like a badass. And then he did, and I was diamonds, my dude, diamonds.
No. Okay, so the thing for me is like when Luke showed up, I was like, how is he there? How is he there? And then I saw him walk out, and I'm like, why is there no projection? I forgot that was a thing.
Yeah.
And then he gets to when he does the fucking flick dust off the shoulder.
Yeah,
I was
right.
like, the fucking sass. And then there was the scene with the fucking like Walker, the fucking shuttle pilot and all that stuff being like, but like Hux is like, but why though? You could just. It's like, okay, landing the ship now.
Yeah, right.
Like, I'm like, Kylo can be fucking intimidating when you give him like the ability to, but like, it's like, oh my god.
Turns out
like,
the ability to force choke a bitch is pretty good.
Yeah. Oh no, the fact that while I was watching, because I was watching it with Kim, my dad, my sister, and her boyfriend, because one of my friends couldn't make it, so I let my sister bring her boyfriend. And I'm watching this scene, and I'm just like, I watched when Kylo Ren moved his foot. I saw the red. And I was like, oh hey, there's the point of the reference. And then my immediate also thought to myself was like, blue lightsaber. He had a green one last time we've seen.
Yep.
So that was another big red flag for me. And then I like Kim was like, no, Luke, and I just like leaned over. He's like, he's not actually.
He's not
there.
like no.
What?
Yeah, okay.
And then she
So I
looked
had
at
the
scene.
exact same moment because I saw it with Stefan and Zip, and I just leaned over to Stefan the moment he walked out, and I'm just like. So you don't really know much about Star Wars Expanded Universe, but force projection is a thing.
Yep.
And then I acted like a smug bitch when I was right. It was fantastic. Okay, so like you were gone for this because you were on the phone, but I do want to talk about the fact that I do like the fact that Luke still develops in this movie, even though he's an older character.
Oh yeah,
like he's still
better than fucking Leia and Han in the other fucking movies.
Well, yeah, because he has a reason to grow.
Yeah. Mind you,
Whereas like Leia and Han are like
all that fucking growth is done by the end of the it's just fucking pointless at the end of the movie.
Well, hey, he's a Force Ghost now, which apparently is like fucking code for just which is just a straight upgrade, considering Yoda, who is a Force Ghost in this movie, shows up, causes Force lightning to happen, and then just hits Luke on the forehead, like physically interacts with people. What is the downside of being a Force Ghost?
I want to be a Force Ghost.
He can still physically interact, he can still use all his Force powers, and he's already dead, so what the fuck are you going to do to him? What is the downside?
That's kind of the reason why I like the old like expanded universe, like now what is now considered Legends. Because what happens with the Force Ghosts eventually is ultimately they have to like be brought into the Force. They have to become one with the Force. And like the way that it happens so gradually. Like you start losing memories as a Force Ghost, and then you just become one with the Force. You fade out. Mm-hmm. It happens with Obi-Wan in the start of the Heir to the Empire trilogy, which is the Thrawn trilogy, the original Thrawn trilogy, where like Obi-Wan's talking with Luke and then just casually fades out, and it's just like, oh, he's gone. Oh, this is serious. But at the same time, like I love the idea of like fucking Force Yoda.
Yeah, just like bopping people with this cane.
Oh man,
being a Force Ghost is OP as fuck.
Apparently.
So yeah, I think that pretty much covers all our very extensive thoughts on the Star Wars movie. We just talked for 50 minutes about it, unless you have something else you want to drop.
Hang on. No, there is something I want to drop.
Okay.
I'm gonna get my food in my fucking mouth, though.
All right, eat it faster.
The fuck was with that kid at the end there?
He's Force sensitive.
Yeah! The fuck is the point of that character? Why would you...
Force sensitive people exist, my dude.
I get that, but like, he just reaches up and he picks up the thing from... I'm like, but why though? Why is this... Why are we going back here? Why?
Because because I guess the like world building. I don't know. This movie, this trilogy seems to be like a hard avoiding the world building though.
Oh yeah.
Like, he's just force sensitive. I don't think he's ever going to be plot relevant. He's just.
I hope not.
Yeah, no, he's just a force sensitive kid.
You know, I was gonna say, I'm just really disappointed that they've written out Jar Jar Binks as it's not going to be the Sith Lord that everyone wants. Like, he's just written out. I always
shut your stupid whore mouth.
Could you imagine that being a thing in the third final movie? Like, at that point, I
would stand up and clap in the theater for the balls to do that.
Because seriously, I would like. Let's say they didn't show his face at all, and then they just show him in a cloak, and they don't even show like it's like it's good silhouette or anything. Just Blob, Blob's fighting, Blob doing this, Blob doing that. You can't tell what the fuck this thing is. Finally, at the end, when they finally killed said Jar Jar Binks, his head will fly off, but you don't see it dead on. You see it from like the back, so you see him dead on the ground. And you go, is that Jar Jar Binks? And just cut to some other scene immediately. Just don't even explain it. Just like he's dead on the ground, his hood's off, whatever. Don't explain it.
But no one who's in the movies anymore knows who the fuck Jar Jar is.
So basically, that's how you do it. You just don't say this is Jar Jar. Just make it so it's like you can tell.
You make it so it's Kylo Ren who defeats him, and he's just like he pulls back the hood. He's like, I don't know this guy.
like, oh god, no, it's gotta be like that's the intimidating villain we're looking for. It's just this faceless like Sith dude who just comes out of nowhere, kicks everyone's ass, and at the very end, when they barely manage to beat him, it's just Jar Jar's dead body, and people are like, who the fuck is this?
Like Darth, what's his name from KOTOR? The guy who has the fucking white mask with red lines on it.
Oh, Malik?
Yeah, Darth Malik, because he was fucking fantastic as a fucking
he was
like Star. I'm like, that's how you do Star Wars like Sith villains. Kylo Ren's fun he's an emotional Sith, but he's not really a Sith at the same time. Disney has actually come out and said like him and Snoke aren't fucking Sith. Snoke actually straight up hates the Sith.
Yeah, they never refer to them as Sith. I guess that makes sense.
They're not Sith because technically Rey isn't supposed to. Technically, the only thing that are supposed to be like a constant in the universe is technically the Jedi and the light, the dark side.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, if they're not Sith, then that means we can finally stop paying attention to that stupid fucking rule of two.
Yep. I mean, the rule of two was
stupid.
It was meant to be like, hey, we're gonna focus all of our power in such a finite way that no matter what, well, eventually one Sith will be able to defeat all the Jedi in the galaxy, which eventually happened.
Hey, it turns out when there were a shit ton of Sith, there was still a guy who could whoop Jedi ass no problem.
Yeah. But the problem was they were always infighting, as you've told me.
Yeah, that's literally why they didn't just kill the Jedi, is because they were also murdering the shit out of each other. Because it turns out the dark side is just stronger.
It's just stronger, but it destroys you from the inside.
Yeah, half as long, twice as bright.
More like a quarter as long, twice as bright.
It's all you need, man. Anyway.
You get a kill record of like 30 people.
Uh-huh.
Whatever. Like, if you use that quarter worth of time to just murder like 30 Jedi, you're still up.
Yeah, you still make a net positive.
Yeah.
Mind you, your net positive is only like 2, but it's still a net positive.
Besides, shorter lifespan is not really a factor when like you are definitely going to get betrayed. If not by the people that you're fighting against, and the people who are on your side.
Yep.
Anyway, so that's Star Wars.
Star Wars in a nutshell.
Yep.
I'm recording. Are you recording? You're recording.
Yeah, I'm hitting a record button now.
Oh, you're recording. Oh, I feel so good for you to record.
And then I was gonna say, do we need the not meeting schedule? Where's that thing? The stupid topic sheet.
By the way, I'm basically done all my shit this week except for the one thing I wanted to get done.
Oh yeah, I have to straighten out the lines on my head, and I'm actually. Funny thing, it's like not 100% done, but it's 100% done as far as what I want to take it, because I have to do the ears, and that's going to take fucking century.
I'm really tempted.
As for everything else, I'll just quickly run through. I think for the most part, you just wanted me to go through the monster list or the bosses and enemies list. But I mean, we looked through it, and I feel most of it's pretty good, other than
I really want to add a monster that's literally just that picture that Shane sent
of what?
A man with a dick, a man with a fist coming out of his crotch.
I have to
And
look
when
at
they
that picture.
complain, because you know they're going to complain,
Uh-huh.
you can sit there and just say, like, what are you, sexist or something?
Mm-hmm.
What are you? You don't like our... What are you? Like, how dare you?
You don't like our Lord and Savior?
No,
Gabian?
we just sit there and say, like, what are you, like, sexist or something? Like, what do you have against the male body? We purposely made it as funny as possible. What are you? Like, what are you? Sexist?
What are you, gay?
No, we don't sit there and say that.
I only do that for
and then we
jokes.
do a censored version that's just like a black box all around it, with just a fist coming out of like the one section.
Oh man, they gave me an extra mayo packet. Oh yeah. 4 mayos.
Hi, I'm interested.
So you just want to talk about? I was gonna say you want to talk about PUBG right now.
Let's sync and then let's talk about one topic.
Couple
then-
topics. Maybe we
Two
could talk
topics.
about. We could talk about battle royale in general.
We could talk about that. We could also talk about. Do you want to talk about Vermintide?
We could talk about Vermintide. I haven't played the new one at all, but the only thing I have to compare it to is the old one.
And we can also talk about.
Oh, I bought the battle pass too for Fortnite.
You're a fuck.
Because I'm so close to hitting the other tier. I was like, okay, well, the tier that I want to get to is to get the new costume that I actually want. So I was like, okay, fuck it. Seems like a good deal just to get into the battle pass right now. Yeah, I spent money on keys, which lucked out.
Okay. And what are your topics, bud?
Hold
Battle
on.
Royale.
So my topics are, Battle Royale. I keep spelling Fortnite as a night. Anything else?
You want to talk about dicks?
We can always talk about dicks.
You heard it here first, ladies. Josh wants to
TikTok.
talk about dicks.
Ladies, you find dicks weird, right? Yeah, they're always weird. I knew it. Do you find your own vaginas weird? Kind of. We have so much in common.
Josh is actually a woman. I just wanted to say that.
Oh, my secret's out. Now I'm just going to squeeze out all my mayo packets. Oh.
That's the dirtiest thing you could say while recording a fucking show.
Let me squeeze out a mayo.
Okay, sync in 3, 2, 1.